What's up, you guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Tracy James. Thank you so much for tuning in. Also, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'm pretty sure my subscribers are probably like, what? Another video this week? Yes, another video this week. I felt like you guys deserved another video. I felt like I kind of just popped up on the scene and didn't really, properly introduce myself. So I felt like, what better way to give my subscribers and my supporters a little bit of an opportunity to get to know me a little bit better by hearing my coming out story. We're gonna need a drink for this one. But yes, so just a little bit of background about me. I'm 26 years old. I grew up in a very, very small town, which I will not name, in Alabama. And I grew up under the parenting of a single mother. I also was raised in a household with 3 of my sisters, 2 older sisters, 1 younger sister, and I also was raised with the assistance of 2 of my very, very beautiful, sweet, caring aunts, whom I love so much, which I have not seen them in a very long time. I need to make time and go and see them because they played a very vital role in my upbringing and honestly my confidence to this day. But anyway, so yeah, I remember growing up, always wanted to be around women. Always wanted to be up under my mom, wanted to be up under my aunts, wanting to see what my sisters were doing and all that good stuff. And I had a very close cousin growing up. We were the same age, we was in the same class, same grade, same everything growing up. And we spent a lot of time together as kids. And so she and I would always do like the most outlandish things, like dressing up in my aunt's clothes, playing church, playing school. And we would always just do it in a very feminine way. And so growing up, that played a huge role in my femininity and me just being that outspoken young boy of the family. And so, of course, being raised in a household with all sisters, my mother was very much so firm on teaching integrity, teaching, taking care of yourself, smelling good, looking good, presenting yourself as a lady. And me being the only boy in the house, I kind of paid attention to what she was teaching my sisters. So I carried a lot of those traits into growing up and becoming who I am as an adult to this day. I do not feel like me being raised by a single mother or being raised around so many women influenced me in being a gay man, because I definitely feel like I was born this way ever since I was a little boy. I've always felt different. I always felt like, being around other boys growing up in the community, that I just did not relate to them in any type of way, shape, form, or fashion. And so I did play like Little League football, Little League baseball. I actually played basketball all the way up until I think my sophomore year of high school, because I actually really did like basketball. But honestly, once I got older, it was just like, I don't want to do this no more. But anyway, so I'll never forget a very vital key point in me realizing that my mom had an unconditional love for me. I had to be around maybe 9 or 10, and my mom had this female best friend that would always keep all the kids in the neighborhood on the weekends. So whenever we were out of school, she would always get all of us. We'd go to her house and we would stay the night. She would cook breakfast for us. We would always have something to do. It was never a dull moment. But it was also a lot of boys, like probably majority boys. I think my second oldest sister and like 2 other girls were in the mix of us, but for the most part, it was all boys. And so there was this one boy that was in the group of all the kids who, kind of shared the same likings that I liked. And I'll never forget, we were supposed to be asleep, and him and I was in the room, and we were like just laying up, cuddled with each other, and we started kissing. Child, tell me why my mom's friend walked in the room. She walked in the room and she was like, y'all cut it out. She was like, I'm telling your mom, go to bed, go to bed, go to bed. And so I could not sleep that whole night because I knew I was going home the next day and my mom was gonna find out what I was doing. I was so scared. I was like, oh my God, she's gonna kill me. Like, what is she gonna think? And I'll never forget, my mom, she pulled me to the side in the living room. She was like, hey, you're too young to be doing those type of things. And by those type of things, she meant like kissing and showing like affection to someone that, you know, I'm basically attracted to. You know, who really knows what you're attracted to at 9 and 10 years old? But she never like scolded me or like criticized me or anything, being that it was with another boy. Like, so I was like, wait a minute, like, so you're not gonna kill me? Like, you're not upset with me? You're not ashamed of me? And she just never showed that to me my entire life. And so I was like, okay, this is okay. I'm not wrong. I'm not, you know, demonic, or I'm not, you know, ashamed to my family. I just cannot be interacting in this type of behavior while I'm still a kid. And so like after that moment, I never had any other encounter of like kissing boys or doing anything like that. But of course I always still like boys and I've always flirted, but anything inappropriate that was not age appropriate, I did not do. And so I was like, okay, my mom, she's okay with it. And so I was able to still grow up and be myself. And me and my sister, we would always have dancing competitions and we would do it in front of my mom, and she would be cheering us on. Like, it was never like, stop doing that, don't do that, never. And I know some people might feel like, oh, that contributed to you being the way you are. And I just really don't think that's true, because I feel like whoever you're meant to be, you know who you are growing up, and nobody can ever really speak to that, especially because they're not you and they don't know what it is that you're dealing with inside and what you feel. And so I truly feel like I was born this way, and I was just given the opportunity and the grace to be who I am and grow up without judgment coming from my family. And so, of course, going through middle school, high school, I dealt with the bullying like everybody else has. And it really didn't bother me, because I knew that when I went home, I was going home to a loving family. I wasn't being ostracized at home. So I was like, you know, this is whatever. Like, I can get through this. You know, some days were tough being bullied, because there was a few times where, baby, I was just getting it from left, right, up, down, side to side. But I just never let it bother me, because I'm like, my mom loves me. So you people in this school don't mean nothing to me. My mom loves me, and that's all that matters. And so I wasn't really concerned with really the bullying, honestly, because it was very short-lived. And let's be real, the same boys that was bullying me, I'll leave it at that. But anyway, so, you know, growing up, just being myself, being free, being who I am, my dad would pop in and out here and there. And, you know, I would kind of adjust whenever he came around, because I just didn't know how he would react. And I really didn't want to be that way around him, because, you know, he kind of felt like a stranger in certain ways. So I never really like expressed myself in that way around him. And I wanted to wait until I got older to, you know, express who I am and what I am to him. But baby, was I robbed of that opportunity. So around my junior year of high school, I came out to some very close friends of mine. And I was like, y'all, listen. And mind you, all of my friends were girls, like all of them. And so, you know, as I was getting older, I'm like, okay, you know, I'm a teenager now. I can kind of sort of do certain things. And so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna come out to my friends. So I came out to my close girlfriends at the time. And, you know, everybody was cool. Like, you know, they knew, obviously, because I mean, hello. But I came out to them, and then I also came out to one of my teachers, who was also one of the favorite teachers out of my siblings, like, throughout our whole life. Because I went to a very small school. Just to give you an idea, the kindergarten through, 6th grade building was in the back of the campus. The middle school was on the left side of the campus. And then the high school was on the right side of the campus, but it was all one campus. So kindergarten through 12th grade, we all shared the same campus. We shared the same cafeteria, the same auditorium, the same gym, the same playground, the same football field. It was all one school. So you can only imagine how that was, being a young kid growing up with teenagers all day, every day at school and being picked on by so many different people. So it was tough, but I made it through. And you know, I didn't really care. But anyway, back to what I was saying. So I came out to some of my friends and I came out to my teacher, and it was all good. You know, the secret was kept and nobody ever really heard about it that I knew of. But y'all, my senior year of high school, that was by far the most drama-filled, stressful year of my life. I'm talking about, there was so much drama. All of my friends, we all fell out. We all hated each other. It was just bad. It was so bad. And so I'll never forget, it was like towards the end of our senior year, and my dad ended up calling me. He was like, hey, what is this I'm hearing about you being gay and, you know, you're hanging out with guys and going to go see guys and, you know, you're wearing girl clothes. Mind you, everything he asked me about was a lie except for me being gay. And I knew then, wow, my friendships are actually really over because my prized possession and the biggest secret of my life has been exposed to my dad. And the way he found out about it was that one of my friends went to church with my uncle. And I don't know if she might have shared it with her mom, and her mom shared it with my uncle, and my uncle called my dad. However it came about, my dad called me and was like, yeah, your uncle told me one of your friends is telling me da da da. And I'm like, what? So of course, I wasn't ready to come out to my dad. So I denied. I was like, no, it's not true. Like, oh my God, they're trying to ruin my life. And he was like, well, you need to change your friends because they saying this, they saying that. So I was like, wow, I just got exposed. So I never really had the opportunity to like really fully come out and say to my parents, this is what it is, because once that happened, I ran to my mom like, oh my God, mom, such and such exposed me. My daddy just called me, blah, blah, blah. And I was finally able to just tell my mom, yes, I am gay and blah, blah, blah. My mom was like, listen, I love you no matter what. And your dad, you know, he'll come to realize that he loves you no matter what as well. And this is nothing. As long as you're not out here abusing minors, abusing the elderly, breaking the law, doing some crazy stuff that can get you put away for the rest of your life and hurting or tormenting people, as long as you're not doing those things, there's nothing that you could ever do that would make me not love you. And that conversation with my mom just made me feel so much more confident in that moment to say, you know what? Y'all thought y'all had me, but baby, try again. Because at the end of the day, my mom, whom I love so much, and I would not be here today if it was not for my mom. I experienced some very, very dark times in finding my identity and growing up and becoming who I am today, that if I didn't have my mom, I probably wouldn't be here. Honestly, truly, I probably would not be here. And so being exposed was tough because it's like, okay, now that my dad knows, I'm pretty sure they probably told every freaking body. And so after that, when I went back to school, it was like horrible tension. I'm talking about, baby, you could cut the tension with a knife. That's how like bad it was. And so I was just like, wow, like, okay, so now I had no choice but to come out. And so like for the rest of my senior year, I just was like, yeah, I don't care who knows. Like, yeah, it is what it is. If you ask me, yes, I'm gay, what's up, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And so I just then started to just live in my truth and be who I was and be unapologetically me, because it's like, okay, no matter what, this is gonna be something I'm gonna have to address. And because I no longer have the choice to do it on my own terms, I might as well just own who I am and be who I am and not be afraid to express myself and be happy in the skin that I'm in and be happy with who I am, because I was a great student. I was a great kid. I never got in trouble. Like, never. If I got in trouble, it was probably because I was laughing in class, or I, you know, might have skipped class to go get some lunch or something like that. But as far as like being a bad kid, that was never me, because I wasn't raised that way. And so I'm like, I'm not gonna let something like this, my true identity, turn me into somebody that I'm not. So I just began to be myself. And so, of course, around that time, Instagram was like freshly popping off. Y'all, my senior year was in 2015. So if I was a little bit late to Instagram, then don't come for me, because baby, I'm only 26, okay? But 2015, Instagram was like new to me. And so I met this guy on Instagram. Baby, when I tell you I was delusional over this boy, I was delusional. I'm talking about, I felt like this was my husband. I felt like we was gonna get married. I felt like, baby, this is it. I was crazy over him. And so I would like go sneak and go see him. I would like take my mom's car while they would sleep, drive to go see him. We would like be kicking it. And yeah, I was delusional over him, baby. You couldn't pay me to be that crazy over no boy this day. But yeah, that was like my first kind of like guy boyfriend, if you want to say. Now looking back, I realized that was not my boyfriend. That was just somebody that was being a boy and being a teenager that just so happened to be gay. And so he was like my first everything. And I ended up telling my mom like, hey, I did it, you know? And the conversation was so effortless, and I was able to just tell her everything. She was able to give me advice on what she could understand and take from the conversation. But yeah, like my coming out story was easy and difficult all at the same time. And it was only difficult because I wasn't given the opportunity to really come out on my own terms and when I was fully ready to do it. And so thankfully it didn't ruin me, or it didn't scar me or traumatize me, because I was still able to be myself and just love every part of me, because when I went home, I had that love no matter what. So hopefully that wasn't a boring coming out story, but it's my truth, it's my reality. That was the way that I came out. That was how everything kind of unfolded in my life. And yeah, here I am, 26 years old. I have been very proud of my sexuality since the age of probably 17, 18 years old. And I just want to encourage anybody that is probably dealing with, you know, trying to find their identity or having a hard time coming out. Just be true to yourself. Find your village and the ones that truly love you, and have that support system around you, because I did end up losing my younger brother to suicide back in 2018. He was battling with his sexuality, and unfortunately he didn't have the same love and support that I had, because we did not grow up in the same household. We did not have the same mom. We shared the same dad, but his experience was a lot different than mine, and we lost him to suicide. And that was one of the most traumatic times of my life, because even though we didn't grow up together, just hearing about his death and hearing about his passing and going to his funeral, it really bothered me for a very, very long time. And it still does to this day sometimes, because I just feel like, dang, how many other young black gay men that are dealing with this same issue and don't have the love and the support that I had, you know, growing up, and how I just want to hug them and just let them know that this too shall pass, and you are meant to be exactly who you are, and nothing in this world could ever take that from you. And just find that love within yourself. So hopefully, you know, my coming out story kind of just helped you understand that even if you don't have the love and the support from your immediate family, there's always different avenues and outlets out there that can help you find comfort in being who you are. Now with social media, I think it's even more easier now to be free and be who you are, because as the LGBTQ plus IA community grows, we're taking a stand for who we are. We're not taking the homophobic at all. So it's like either love us or hate us, but we're here and it is what it is. So be yourself, be bold and beautiful in your skin, and know that I love you and everybody a part of the community loves you, and I wish you the best in your coming out journey. And I hope that my video inspired you to just love yourself even more. But thank you guys so much for watching my coming out story. Maybe I'll do my experience dating and being involved with boys, guys, men as I progress through life. So if you'd like to see that, comment below in the comments, and I will see you guys in the next video.